Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today is another session with the CNC WE Tattooing Machine. Today I've set up a few more squares from last session, what we did here. I've set a few more squares that I'm going to practice on today, trying to basically just get nice, neat, straight, saturated lines. I did manage to get maybe one or two decent looking ones from yesterday, so hopefully we can replicate that today as well. But before I get into any of the squares that I've got pre-planned out, I did just use a ruler and a pencil to draw them on as like a outline for what I'm going to be doing today. But before we get into the squares, I'm going to use any of these open spaces I've got up in here from past sessions to just practice on, like get a proper feel for it again, and then dive into the squares. So yeah, today once again using the CNC WE tattooing machine. I've already cleaned it with some alcohol probe wipes. Cleaned the handle to it, took it off, cleaned all the inside, cleaned the area the handle goes on, all around it up to the battery, everything like that. And just gotta finish up setting it up with putting some barrier film over the top of it. Yep, so that is the tattoo machine wrapped up. So we've got the little pen machine bags cut off a little bit over the top of this so I can spin it around and get the proper length that I want. I put a grip over the top of it, about half a roll of one of the grips, and then I've got the barrier film over the top of it. And today we're going to be practicing with a Stigma 11 round liner. Not sure if it'll pop up, kind of can see it. So we're practicing with this needle cartridge today. So let's get it installed on the machine. Alright. Feeling good. I've got everything already set up. I've got my ink, Vaseline set up, and I've got a few paper towels to my left to get us started. So we'll dive straight into it, practice a few lines going up, down, left, right, just in any of these spaces that I've got, and then we'll move straight on to the squares for today's session. So today I'm going to be setting it up to 8 volts on the machine to practice with, and we'll be spinning the machine to around 3.5 millimeters in length, if that's visible. We'll be doing that today. So let's just jump straight into it. Oh, that was not good. Hand accidentally slipped and went too deep. But that's all part of practice. Making sure when I do get onto real skin, I don't actually do that. Alright. These lines that I've just done over here are coming out much nicer than when we first began. Starting to get a feel for the gun again. And this new 11 run liner I'm trying out. Starting to get a feel for it again. We'll move up over into this little corner here, try and get some more side to side lines, and practice some more up and down lines as well. We're getting a little bit darker. We have not gone through the end and punctured the skin. So okay, this first line came out not too shabby. So I need to start trying to get it as consistent as this one here. So we'll practice a little bit more in any of these open spaces that I can find. I've got this inside of this square I can try and do some stuff in. We'll do that all about for maybe another 10 more minutes and then move straight onto the squares. See how these ones turned out. Hopefully somewhat better. Get it all nice and cleaned up so it's easier to see all of it. I have also ordered some new skins, instead of these rubber ones, I've bought some synthetic? I've bought some synthetic, I'm fairly certain is what they're called, from Real Skin Fake Skins. So I've bought some of them, and we will be experimenting on those as well. So hopefully the cleanup will be a lot nicer, a lot more not smudged out and all dark and everything like it is on these rubber ones right now. But we'll see how that goes when we get them. Because this one smudges really, really easily, so sometimes it's quite hard to see what I'm doing. Okay, so that did make quite a noticeable difference trying to change up the angle for these top ones. These top ones came out a lot darker than these bottom ones did, so clearly I'm holding my machine on a wrong angle for one, and we're not going deep enough. I feel like my speed is fairly correct for the voltage I've got right now, so I've just got to practice on my angle and depth. Well, as you guys can see, I've finally mostly run out of space in this little sectioned off area of where I was practicing in other sessions. So it's time to go to our beloved little squares down here and have a shot at these. I have noticed, though, which I have not mentioned yet today, and I'm pretty proud of it. If we look at the lines compared to other sessions and other days, they have come out so much straighter. I feel like I'm actually finally getting to understand the vibrations of the machine and how to like hold it and handle it without having my hands shaking. So I think I'm finally getting used to that a little bit, and we are actually getting some decently straight lines for, what is this, session 4? So I'm pretty proud of that. Hopefully we can replicate it on these squares and actually get nice, neat, straight lines as I've drawn with the pencil for these. If we do, then that will be quite amazing on its own right there. So, may as well not waste any time and jump straight into these squares. Not going to rush them by any means at all, but we'll get straight into them, see what we can do. We'll do these first two as like the little tester ones, see how I'm feeling on those, take a look at the both of them in depth, and then I'll carry on doing these, carry on doing the rest of these, and then present them when I'm finished. So we'll get some ink, and we'll begin with the first two, show them off, and then we'll carry on. So, same as last session, I'm going to be going down, left, up, and then to the right, just so I'm getting all different angles and practicing how to move my machine in every single way possible. So I'm not focusing on just one way, because if it comes to doing a tattoo in real life and I can't get a specific angle and I need to do it in one way that I'm uncomfortable with, at least I've learned how to do it. So let's get straight into it. We'll start with down and then carry on. Check out this first one. Nice and clean. I struggle the most on the one where I have to come back and go to the right, the last line. That's the one I struggle the most on. It always feels really uncomfortable, so I'm like trying to drag my hand across this like fake skin. I'm not sure if I should be like trying to drag my hand or if I should just kind of be like moving my fingers back and seeing what that does. I might try it on this second one, trying to just move my fingers back instead of my whole hand, see if that works out more cleaner or not. Check the back real quick. We have not punctured anything. We have not gone too deep. Looking good. Alright, let's get it shown off. So we're getting nice, clean, consistently dark lines all around. And that is what I'm looking for. A lot straighter than the last sessions, as you can see in this little corner here. We've gone up and down. this one actually looks like a genuine square. Very nice, very nice. Alright, we'll go on to the second square. I'll try doing just moving my hand backwards instead of moving my, my fingers backwards instead of my whole hand. See if that makes it more comfy. Yeah, skin started bouncing around, put me off course a little bit, so this bottom line not going to be anywhere near straight. That's alright. Right, let's check this one out and see how the only using my fingers and not pulling my hand back worked out. I'm not really sure how it felt. It kind of felt slightly more uncomfortable, but they're both equally as uncomfortable going to the right for me personally. I can't seem to get it grasped down on how to keep comfy on it. Maybe I might need to go more of an angle and just kind of drag it down. But we'll see how it came out. And maybe I'll fine tune my hand movements to whatever comes out a lot better. Oh, I can already off the bat see that was a lot worse. Get it a little bit more cleaned up so you can see better on the camera. Alright. So, straight off the bat, can 100% see that this top line nowhere near deep enough, quite unstable, not consistent at all. So, using just my fingers to move back made it more uncomfortable and a lot less consistent. So, I'm gonna most probably carry on just practicing moving my hand back just like that instead of moving my fingers back, as it was more comfy and I could still get darker, more saturated lines. It was just much better. But first line going down, a little wiggly woggly, that's alright, but nice saturated lines. This one, when I was coming to the left, back to this third line, the skin started bouncing on me because I was like really close to the edge and it kind of put me off track, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I just need to try and stabilize my hand slightly more, so I'm going to have to try and improve that on all the other ones. And then coming back up, nice saturated clean line as well. So my up and down lines seem to be the most darkest and straightest lines, so I'm gonna have to try and put much more practice into going on my side to side lines and hopefully improve on these by at least the end square. So no more talking, I'll get to doing these squares and then show them off to you guys at the end. Well, that's all these squares done. And I'm not really sure how to fully feel about these squares. In one take, I am extremely proud of these. They are coming out a lot more like neater, straighter, and I'd say just about as dark as yesterday's session. So we're keeping, after a little warm up basically of getting familiarized with the actual machine again on these a few lines all about over on this top area. Going back into the squares just felt really casual, so I feel like I am starting to get somewhere. So these were the first two these were the first two squares that we did, that we showed in detail and experimented with. I did carry on moving my hand just backwards with these right lines, so these top lines here, instead of pulling my fingers back. Felt much more comfortable and felt like I could try and somehow get some like much more straighter lines. So if we come in closer to have a look at these lines, by all means they are nowhere near straight. If I could get a closer up somehow without it blaring out too much, you can see that they're nowhere near straight and they do start to wiggle a little bit. But they are coming out nice and clean, cleaner than I thought they would, so I am getting more used to the like vibrations of the machine, which is pretty nice. Yeah, so my biggest issue with the tattooing so far with these squares and lines has been these top lines, so the moving towards the right, so this way. They have been the most struggling lines for me, because I don't know if it's because I'm in a uncomfortable position, like hand positioning, and I'm not understanding it correctly, because I'll try to show you a close-up on one of them for what I mean. So this bottom square here that I'm pointing at right now, it starts off fairly normal, nice and straight, and then you see a little dip at these ending parts. So I'm not sure if I need to like stop where it starts feeling uncomfortable and then move my hand back a little bit and then try and tape it in from where I finished off to like finish off the square and get it done with a straighter line, or not. That was like the biggest issue. And then my second biggest issue that I'm going to have to work on is starting off the bottom lines of going towards the left. So going this way. These ones I couldn't start off properly. I started going straight from maybe about 3mm and then dip down and up and down and up and down, and it just starts wiggling out of nowhere, and then I'm not getting the correct depths and stuff inside of it. But overall, they are looking very nice and clean. If we check the back, no punctures, have not gone too deep, have kept it nice, and it was the dermis. No, it was the epidermis. I've forgot it again. But it seems we are keeping it in either of those dermises, whichever one is I'm supposed to be keeping it in, the second layer one. So, not too shabby. I'm pretty proud of that. And yeah, so a quick little recap before we finish up. So it's the CNC WE tattooing machine. I was using it at 8 volts or 7.5 volts. 7.5 or 8 volts is the thing that I set the voltage to for the needle. We had the needle going around 3 to 3.5mm out. I think it was more to 3.5 if I'm remembering correctly. And we was using the, if I can get it out. If I can get it out. Okay, right, I can't get it out, but it was the 11 round liner Stigma. What was it called again? And then we was using the Stigma 11 round liner needle cartilage, testing it out today. If anyone stumbles across this video and they actually know what they're doing with tattooing and everything, please let me know how I can improve, what I'm doing wrong, if I'm even explaining anything. I've just got ink all over my hands, lovely. Yeah, and also if anyone's got any tips for me, I will gladly accept. Like, for example, as of currently, I'm wondering right now that if moving between different sizes of the liners is bad and I should be sticking to like one and following that one, or if I should be like experimenting with all, because I've tried 5 liner, I've tried 9 liner, and I've tried the 11 round liner today. And tomorrow I was planning on experimenting with the 7 round liner to see where all of those are feeling decent at. But yeah, that'll be the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay safe, people. Peace.